I'm Peter Plastridge, and it's my wife Esther. I had varicose veins in my early 20s. As a matter of fact, I did not qualify to go into the Vietnam War because of varicose veins. And I lived with them all my life. I had them, they were big, visible on my legs, but I always thought that they were no big deal really. They didn't hurt me occasionally, and maybe they were pain, but I didn't notice it because I'd had them, virtually all my life at that point. And I'd always also heard that, if you go, they got to be stripped out. I never really knew what that meant, but I assumed that they would have to make these big incisions in the leg, and then they'd have to pull the veins out. And it sounded complicated, difficult, and not something that said, well, and I don't really need to do it. They're not bothering me. But I'd always thought maybe I should, someday look into it. And so we were at this show, and the doctor was there, and we went by her actually. And then I said to my wife later on, I said, why don't we go talk to them and see what it's about? And that's how we ended up here at the Ponte Vedra Vein Institute, was because of that conversation. And we came in here and found out that really, I looked at my leg just a few minutes ago, there's not even a mark on the leg where the veins were taken out, and I took a lot of veins out. There had to have been, if you put them end to end, maybe 10 feet of them. It was a lot of veins that came out, and the leg has gone down, and there's no bumps. It's not perfect because they were there for almost 45, 50 years. They were there, so this is something I dealt with for a long time. And the experience here was they just basically went in and checked it out, did a sonogram to see it, is there a need, is there a problem? And they said, yes, your blood is not being pumped through these veins. It's just basically sitting there going back and forth, which means they aren't doing anything. So they went in, and these incisions weren't even a half an inch in length, and they pulled the veins all out, and everything went down. They shut the veins off, and everything has been very good from that situation. So that was my situation. What's yours, dear?
Well, it was an interesting meeting at the home show, and Peter showed Dr. Casey, his legs, and she said, "Oh, you need to come and visit me," and so in fact we did, and he was made an appointment to come, and we looked at my veins, and while his was visual, mine were not visual. And Dr. Casey said, you have worse leg veins than my husband. And my legs were always tired. And in the evenings, especially, I experienced that restless leg syndrome. And I went through the therapy, and painless therapy as it was. And the restless leg syndrome has disintegrated, and actually for my age, my legs, I feel very confident in the use of my legs. I'm a very active person. I play tennis, and so I count on confidence in the use of my legs. But also with that, I experience a lot of balance too. Which is important to me at my age, to have a great deal of balance, and because that's one of the things that face you when you're in the 70s. But with that said, we're two very happy people with strong legs and don't get tired, and we're confident in our movements. And I appreciate Dr. Casey very much. The care has been very, very professional. Dr. Casey is very educated in what she's doing, and her staff is spectacular. They're so sweet, and it's just a pleasure to be here in this wonderful environment. Well, in tennis, I'm not a Roger Federer or or a Steffi Graf, but you certainly require a lot of movement. And with the treatment, I did notice a great deal of ease in the movement and reaching to the ball. So that was very, very helpful to me. Because of the results of the treatments in my legs, I would highly, highly recommend Dr. Casey and the Ponte Vedra Vein Institute to take a look at anyone who is having, tired legs, restless leg syndrome, and because our legs are very important to us. And I would highly, highly recommend that anyone who has any of these questions, they answer questions without any, signing the dotted line, and you'll find nothing but professionalism. So I do recommend the staff here and the Dr. Casey very highly.
The office has a high degree of professionalism. It's well put together, it's well organized, it's well run. You feel very comfortable here. They take their time with you, they don't rush you. They do what they need to do, they explain what they're doing to you, so before anything happens you know what's going to happen, and they work with you so you can see that that's happening. And yes, I would highly recommend coming in and taking a look. They offer other things besides just veins, so that's important too, and they know what they're talking about. They're not into drugs, they're not into giving you things to solve your problems, but to find ways that can be done in a homeopathic way to take care of your problems. Obviously they do the surgery as well, but there are other things that they do.
And we use that word surgery very lightly because it's really a procedure. There is not surgery, you're not put to sleep. There's a video above your face on the ceiling that you can sing along, with the songs. It's a very comfortable time and painless.